Let's see, are we good? All right. You are recording. Awesome. Perfect.
Sure.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us for another episode of For My Friends. This one is a special guest for me. He is one of the smartest dudes that I know. Like I was telling him before, I am literally proud of him for what he's doing and what he's done in his life. I can't wait for everybody to hear his story. My friend, your friend, Terence McLeod. Thank you, Terence, for joining me.
Hey man, I appreciate you having me, bro. Appreciate you having me.
I'm happy you moved away from our beautiful home of Plantation. So we miss you down here in South Florida.
Man, I tell you what, I still go home pretty often. But I'm sure as hell glad I moved though, man. It's just I was living very, very well in South Florida, but moving here, bro, and that was the toughest part because usually you start going through shit and then you say, you know what, man, it's not working here. I need to get up and I need a change of scenery.
Right.
So it's easy to move, you know what I'm saying? But when you're actually making a good living and you're living good and comfortable and enjoying life, it's hard as hell to move because now you got to explain to people why the hell you're moving in the first place.
Right.
You know?
Right. That's true. That's true. Well, so I'll start off with my consistent question that I ask everybody. Who were you at South Plantation?
Man. Oh damn, I wasn't prepared for that one, man. I was a very, very good football player, as well as a joke telling fat boy, sort of say. Like I was the one that, in the roughest situations, the most down times in anyone's life, you could just had a family member that just died. Like I'm still gonna tell a joke and you know what I'm saying, to try to lighten the mood. Like I was that guy at South. Big teddy bear for the most part.
Okay. I like that. I
You
like
know.
that. Tell us, yeah, as you say that, tell us a little bit about your football at South Plantation.
Oh man, I played junior varsity for my freshman year. Um, I got a little bit of a head start because I started going out to South Plantation when I was in the seventh grade with Larry and Damien and those guys.
Okay.
So you know, I grew out of Pop Warner football very, very early. So for about a 3 year gap, I couldn't play. So sixth grade, seventh grade, and eighth grade, I couldn't play Pop Warner because I had gotten too big. So I used to have to play with the high school guys.
Right.
So instead of me going to practice, since I didn't have practice, I would go to South Plantation to practice.
Well, there you go.
So I went and I had to play a year of junior varsity. But hell, by the time we used to go up and scrimmage to varsity, I used to destroy those cats. so I started my last 3 years at South on varsity. Made a couple all county teams. I believe I made an all state team my last year. Um, so it was pretty good, man. That was one of the best times of my life playing football. I still talk to the majority of those guys as well.
Awesome. I like that. I like that. No, I remember you playing football and being one of the nice, like you said, one of the nicest mean dudes out there. So
Yeah, man. It's rough in the trenches, man.
yeah. So you said that was one of your best times. What was one of the things you wish you did at South Plantation that you didn't get to do?
Man, honestly, I don't think it's nothing that I wish I would have done in high school. Like, for a lot of people, man, when you think back to your best times of your life, like it could be some college stuff, but for me, the most authentic times of my life, like that was when everybody was pure. You know what I'm saying? You could take a person at their word. Life was just a lot purer in high school.
Mm-hmm.
As you get older and that adult stuff start to seep in, and it starts to contaminate people. You know what I'm
Ooh.
saying? you
Yeah.
know,
No, that's true.
but I don't
That's
think it's
true.
nothing that I wish I would have done. I think from my point of view, I can't think of anything that I wish I would have. Now I will tell you that I wish I would have taken more um, financial advice from specific people when I was at that age.
Oh, that's interesting. You were getting financial. That's even interesting that you were getting financial advice to not take at
Yeah,
that age.
and I should have. I should have, because what that did was that led to, we where we come from, we had we didn't have much, but we had everything we needed. You know what I'm saying? So once I got to college and you start getting scholarship checks or financial aid or student loans, we didn't get taught about that. Like my mom couldn't buy me a microwave to send me to college at Cookman. So guess what? That the Discovery sent your credit card with $1,000 on it. I'm like, shit, this free money, So that goes back to me saying, if I would had have used the knowledge that my uncle and people were trying to tell me, I would have had a lot easier start.
Yeah, no, that's true. I tell people that all the time. Like, I don't think I grew up with a single mom. I don't think she ever made more than $50,000-$60,000 her whole life. 2 kids in Plantation. I was like, I never knew we were poor until somebody told me.
Right.
Because you always had clothes, you always had food, you always had stuff. But did your mom have a new car? No. Could you always go on all the trips with all your buddies and friends that got stuff? No. You know what I mean? We always had a Christmas tree gift that was socks and underwear. Not necessarily
but you needed it though.
Or anything. Oh, you needed it. Oh,
right, you needed it.
For sure. But that's some old poor people Christmas gift stuff right there. Socks.
Yeah, of course. Draws.
Put on them new draws I got you for Christmas. That's what I'm. So, you mentioned those good times. What were your favorite times outside of football? Give me that memory, that party, that school dance, prom, whatever, that one that sticks out to you.
Man, this is gonna be, and I just called myself a big teddy bear, so this is not gonna be on par with that. But I would say the funnest time I've ever had, and unfortunately, this came to the unfortunately, this came with a little pain to the people on the receiving end of this. But the funnest time I've ever had is when we crashed we got into it with some guys from St. Thomas. And you know how much we love the St. Thomas Aquinas. So what happened was we saw them in the mall at the food court. That's how, everybody sometimes go to the food court. And they exchanged words with us, and they kind of got the better of us when it came to words, because the security separated us. So we was like, okay. So we had a football game, they had a football game. Well, one of our players was girlfriends with a girl that went to the school.
Okay.
Guess who told us where they were having their after the game party at?
Okay.
So we got that information, and me and about 20 other linemen ended up finding this party, and we snuck through the pool screen in the back, and man, it wasn't pretty, but it was a fun time. It was a fun time. I would not recommend you doing that now. You can't do that nowadays.
No,
because somebody will get shot. But man, we it
will be on camera.
Oh, absolutely. But we got it in for about, we took over the house. You couldn't have written a better story than that.
Oh my God.
But that was probably the funnest time that I've ever had.
Oh man. See, now I actually want pictures of that now.
It was bad, man. I can't go into detail, but oh man, it was bad. But nobody really got hurt. It was just some old high school varsity stuff.
Hijinks, we call it hijinks.
Yeah, they started it though, but it's all good. We finished it.
Okay, there you go. So tell me, wow. Tell me, so after South Plantation, you mentioned Cookman. Tell me a little bit about that transition post high school.
So after high school, I went the very next year to Bethune-Cookman. I stayed there for about a good year. Didn't end up working out up there. Knew too many people. Too many people from South Florida came. I took a visit to Bethune-Cookman during back then. It was a Black College Reunion weekend.
Okay, that's a good time to go.
Right. So for those that don't know what that is, this whole Labor Day thing in South Beach, it got moved from Daytona. That's where it used to be. So I went there, and I committed like right after the trip. I was like, hey, Soon as I got there, the guy that was my hostess, he told me, he was like, listen, bro, I know they want me to tell you to come here, but don't come here. Because he was like, it's nothing like what you see this weekend. I didn't care, I didn't care. I went there and
That's
instantly,
honest.
yeah, he told me, and I regretted it. Because it was just too much partying. Like no one focused on school. The coaches, like they were all sleeping with the cheerleaders. They didn't care. You know what I'm saying? Like that was when we had the coach was Alvin Wyatt, the guy that's all over Facebook now that they're comparing Dion to as far as dressing on the sideline.
Oh wow.
It was that guy. So it was just a mistake. So I ended up leaving there. And I went to two different schools. I went to a school out in California, and then I finished up at Arizona Western. Is where I ended
Oh,
up at.
Arizona. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I finished up. Me, Kevin, a couple of us went out there. But we ended up at Arizona, and that's kind of where it fizzled out. After that, and I ended up coming home and starting life.
Okay. All right. How was Arizona?
Hot, man. It was Yuma, Arizona. That's like the highest recorded temperature on planet Earth, man. Like 125 in the shade. It was bad. It was pretty bad.
Oh man. Okay. All right. So you finish up with that. You transition to you start working. You start figuring out life. What's the story there?
So after that, I went to a couple different colleges. I think I started doing like mobile detailing or something. It was just a lot of busy work at that time. Man, I was in my early 20s. I go make some money and go below some money. It
Right.
didn't matter. I was just living, you know, um, wherever I can get a dollar, I get a dollar. And I never had a problem making money. See, that was the thing too, because I never was at the beginning forced to sit down and finish up this or do that, like, because it was so easy for me to just go out, do something, and use my brain to make some money legally. You
Yeah.
know. So
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
I got
Yes.
a pre-reference here by saying.
Yes.
So
Thank you for that.
it was easy for me to do that. So I was just kind of winging it, man, and it wasn't until I met my now wife until I kind of started putting things into perspective.
Okay.
And then I slowed down a whole lot.
Okay. A good woman will make you do that. A good woman
Absolutely.
will make you do that.
That's how I knew.
Yeah. There you go. Put that
Yeah,
on the checklist. Did you slow down?
yeah,
Start take
man.
life serious on the checklist.
Instantly slowed down. So um that whole man, the early 20s is just a blur. Like that was I can't even remember half the stuff, but I do know it was just a lot of partying, just trying to recoup those last 2 or 3 years that I spent bouncing from college to college.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, man, I'm adult. I ain't got no responsibilities. Let's do it. And then that's what I did for about a good 3, 4 years. I just did it and did everything.
Okay, nothing wrong with that.
Oh,
Sowing your royal oats.
yeah, man, living a little bit.
Okay. So you mentioned that a good woman will make you slow down a little bit. So that kind of prefaces one of my favorite questions is what was your big mental shift to adulthood? Was it the wife? Was it a baby? Was it marriage? What was your shift?
Um, I think it came before the baby actually. It just I don't know, man. I just kind of had an epiphany, I guess. Um, one day I just was because she used to always drill to me like it was the first person that I had dated that all they would think about was the future. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone else that I had dated, which wasn't very many girls that I had dated or women that I had dated, all they talked about was what we doing tomorrow. What we doing tonight, what we doing next week. When I met my wife, the conversation shifted to, hey, what do you want to be doing in 10 years? Or what are we going to do in our 40s? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you doing now to position yourself to have a better 50s?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of how I knew, like, wait a minute, like she kind of made me start thinking in a whole different way that at the time, my 24, 25 years on this earth, I had never even thought of that.
Wow. Hold on to her.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, hold on to her. That's for sure. That's for sure. Okay. So that's you made that shift. So then again, one of my other favorite questions then is, so what's the advice to your 17-year-old self?
Oh man. I would say take school serious at the beginning because you're going to eventually want to go back and do that. Most people want to go back and do that.
Mm-hmm.
I would say take that more serious. Pay closer attention to your finances at that age. Stay away from loans of any sort. You know, if you can't buy it, save up a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? When you get grown, sometimes you know, unless you got three, 400,000 in the bank, you're gonna have to finance your damn house. You know what I'm saying? But when you're at that age, it's nothing that you really need. That you should be, from 17 to 23, 24 years old, that you can't just suffer for a little bit more and buy. You know what I'm saying? Because what happens is that
Mm-hmm.
when you're using the credit card to buy it, it means you don't have the money to buy it. When
Mm-hmm.
you're adult and you got kids, you got to do what you got to do. But at that age, you really don't necessarily need that.
Mm-hmm. Now I only buy credit cards when I need credit card points. That's the only reason.
Absolutely.
Let's stack
Hey,
these points up for a vacation, for
Delta
something
Sky,
bigger long term. That's it.
the Delta Sky Miles, bro. We go on trips every year based off of just those Sky Miles.
Ain't that the truth? That's old man compensation right there.
Yeah, man. Yeah. We can't do that, man.
That's funny.
We can't
That's
give them the game now. We can't give them the game, T.
So let me ask you this: the fun part to me of the conversation, knowing you,
Hmm.
who are you now, Terrence?
Oh man, I'm a Renaissance man right now.
Okay.
I'm super determined, which I've always been determined, but it's always been on, I would say, the wrong things. Now, all of my time and efforts go into my future.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a forward thinker. I plan things. I'm very strategic. Whatever I say, I do, and I make sure that I do it, and that's would lead into the reason why I came as far as I did, as quick as I did, and when I got to Atlanta. So I'm just a very organized, forward thinking person now, and trying to be a brand ambassador for my own company.
Okay, tell me about that. Your own company.
So Film Jocks is a basically a content creating creative business. Um, I want to essentially be a one-stop shop for a network or client or anything. So if you want a commercial shot, I'm not going to give you the traditional cookie cutter commercial. It'll be like a cinematic style commercial. I also do my own short films, which I enter into film festivals. I got two circulating right now in festivals, and about four more set up to shoot like very very soon.
That's so
Um,
cool.
I got a full production team, director, photographer, lighting crew. I mean, I got probably like a 15-person crew that I have. So I got an actual real professional production team. Um, I also got a podcast that I do about every 2.5, 3 weeks, which I use that to kind of bring everything together. You
Mm-hmm.
know, so I got a little bit of things going on.
That's so great. Is that all you're doing? Are you still working full time somewhere? What's the
Absolutely.
hybrid there?
So, okay, so that right there is just my time when I'm not working. so,
Okay. Okay.
so I'm a full-time commercial building inspector.
Okay.
So what that does is it allows me to do a bunch of work and I can crunch it down into 2 days and then I have the rest of the week off.
Oh,
So
there you
yeah,
go.
so that's the main thing I like about my job. Other than the fact that it pays really good. Like for instance, on Monday and Tuesday, I was in Alabama Monday and Mississippi on Tuesday. So I just went extra hard, and now the rest of the week, I kind of got the rest of the week off to handle the film jock side of stuff.
Okay.
Now this goes back to when I said I wish I would have paid more attention to the school thing, because now I'm also a student at Georgia State University right now.
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't
It's,
know that. Okay.
yeah, so I actually major in risk management because that's what I'm doing now, and I've been doing that for like 7 years. I major in risk management, and then I minor in film and media.
Did your professor or dean say, "What the hell is this about? Risk management
Yeah,
and film?" Like what?
it's funny. My history teacher, you do the little introduction discussion,
Right.
and I put that on there, and he messaged me back separately and was like, "How in the hell does that even go together?"
Right. Yeah, don't worry about that, bro. I got things happening behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I
It's
got
fun.
things.
I explained to him, but he just was like, "Man, I had to ask. I'm really curious."
Okay, so the risk management's for the day job, and the
Right,
film stuff is for the extra job.
right.
So, what do you tell people that are looking for the side gig, but they're concerned about their full time gig? What's your advice to that person?
Man, I say it all the time, bro. You got 24 hours in a day, dude. So if I go, if I work for 8 hours a day, which I don't, but if I work for 8 hours a day, bro, I still got another 16 that I need to figure out. So just say the average person, a good night's sleep for a working adult is 6, 7 hours. That's a good night's sleep. So just say you get seven, that's 15. You still got another nine left, you
Yeah.
know. That I mean, bro, you can spend 2 hours a day working on a dream or a passion, or even 1 hour. You know what I'm saying? If you got 31 days in a month and you spend 1 hour a day, then that's 31 hours that month that you've spent into, your passion. So you can't never like you spend an hour. Most people spend 2.5 hours a day looking at Facebook on their damn phone. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. I do
Mhm.
it. So it's just the
Yeah.
fact that when people say that, well, I don't have time because I work all day. Like, okay, but you do have time. You know.
hmm Yeah, I tell a lot of folks similar things, right? With doing this, with the mobile barbershop that I had, my full time job, wife and 3 kids. There's a
Mhm.
lot to do, and there's still time to do the thing that makes you happy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You
hmm
can have a full plate. You'll find a way to put something else on that if you're good. Like you like candy yams and your plate filled up. Guess what's gonna happen when you see them like, oh shit, I ain't know it was candy yams over there. What you gonna do? You gonna slide it and you gonna get them damn candy yams on that plate.
Top of another piece of chicken. Slide. Okay.
But you gonna get it on that plate though.
Oh, that's for sure. Oh, and by the way, that's stolen. I'm taking that.
You
Right.
know.
That's the truth. That's the truth. So tell me about the films that you're making. What kind of films?
All right, so the one that I just put out now, I had to let it circulate. It's been done. We filmed that probably like 6 months ago,
Okay.
probably about 6.5, 7 months ago, and we had to let it circulate for a certain amount of time until it got out of a couple festivals. So I was allowed to do it. So what I try to do is I try to be as diverse as possible with my staff, and with the actors. So the actors that I got in this last film that I did, titled 996, um, they're speaking Russian in the film. So what I wanted to do was try to, as a black director, like I don't ever want to be seen in this, I guess, pile that they put us in.
Mm.
Because when you see a black director, you kind of automatically think that, oh, I know what type of movies he's gonna make.
hmm
You know what I'm saying? And the people might not think it. They might not say it, but a lot of people do think it.
Oh yeah,
So,
they want some kind of oddball comedy, some kind of gangster movie,
yep.
something like that. You they don't say, but you know
Hood.
what they.
Yeah,
hmm
but I know. So I just love the reaction of when I show someone or I release something, and they say, "Wait a minute! Oh, so this takes place back in the 70s, and these people are speaking Russian." Like, bro, the reaction that I got from so many people were like, "Wow!" Like I had a director call me, a black guy, and he's like, "Hey man, I love it. It's great." He said, "Let me ask you a question. Um, why did you go with the whole Russian thing?" Because in his mind, he just could not wrap his mind around why I would do something like that.
hmm
You know what I'm saying? And I knew what he was trying to say, but I'm like, dude, like, I want to make sure that I give everybody something to look at. Like I'm never gonna be caught in this box that we as Black people get caught up in. Like I'm not gonna do that. So that's one film. That's a horror film that I just released.
Wait, so let's slow down here.
Okay.
A Russian horror film by a Black director from South Florida. Okay.
Right.
I see. I put that together instantly. Right.
Why not? Right. Yeah. So that film, and we also, if you watch the film, it's probably about 3 or 4 moments. You got to watch it a couple of times because you're probably not going to necessarily get it the first time. But I like to make films that are conversation pieces after the fact. You know what I'm saying? Just like me and you had a conversation about that film, about some different things that you saw that, like we went back and forth. And that's what I think that's what makes a good film, is just to get the conversation started. Because the more people to see it from different lights, like the more, angles that you can get people to notice on it.
I like that. Okay. What's the next one?
The next one we're doing is we actually, and this is how we moving on up a little bit too. We got a actual college up in Smyrna, Georgia, that they're allowing us to use the whole college to film.
Oh, there you go. That
so,
could be creative.
Oh yeah. Creative. Yeah, so we got the whole college on November the 7th. And this one is about a mass school shooting.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's about a mass school shooting. So traditionally, study tells us that the mass school shooters are always white.
Yep, male.
Gothic, depressed. So this film is going to take you down that rabbit hole, but it's not going to end up being the way that you think it's going to be.
Ooh, I'm excited. Obviously, people in South Florida, we're connected to school shootings with MSD, so I'm intrigued.
Absolutely. And so before that, I actually, breaking into more of the commercial side, we took on a commercial for actually a friend of mine that he's from South Florida too, but he's up here, and he has a beard balm that I advertise every now and then on my Instagram. But he has a beard balm that's actually doing like super well in Atlanta, and we were talking, and he asked me like, "Hey man, why don't you do a commercial for me?" And I said, well, if I do a commercial, we're going to do, a cinematic commercial. Like it's going to be a real deal. So we linked up, and now that one is ready to go. That's going to be on October 17th.
Okay.
We're shooting that on October 17th.
Oh, that should be exciting. Okay. You're a creative dude, man.
Yeah, I'm really excited about the commercial. I wrote that commercial with the help of my wife.
Okay. Bringing a family into the business. There you go.
Yeah, man. Yeah, this is gonna be her first time being a assistant director. So,
Okay.
Yeah, man. So we gonna. I want everybody to. I told her she was gonna be a personal assistant. She told me to kiss her ass.
Yeah. Like I'm gonna get you coffee. Okay, that's gonna happen. Yeah, no, that wouldn't have set your marriage in the right direction, brother. I wouldn't recommend that.
I ain't even doing that.
So this unique journey that you're on with the film, what's the end game?
Oh man, to be honest with you, I don't even know, man. I'm trying not to think about like where it needs to stop. My thing now is I'm just trying to put out, because this is the thing. The type of person that I am, if I don't know how to do something, I'm going to learn myself how to do it, because the more things you know how to do in the industry, the more valuable you are. So for a while, I didn't want to do commercials. Well, guess what? You got people out here that got, 2 million followers on Facebook because they do commercials. You know what I'm saying? So I want to have my hand in as many things as I can, so that if you turn on the TV, you might see film jocks. You browsing podcasts, you might see film jocks. I just want to make myself as accessible as possible to the general public, whether that be commercials on TV, short films, or podcasts. So I'm just trying to put out as much content as possible right now.
So what even got you down this path of content, right? Like you're doing this job that's commercial, nothing to do with content, right?
Right.
You're a high school athlete, nothing to do with content. How do you even end up in this place?
So, I tell you what. So I used to write even when I was in high school, and I used to write little short story novels, like little 1 page, 2 page short story novels, things that were weird that I was thinking about. I never used to show them to anybody, not a family member, not anybody. So I kept doing it. I always did it when I was down or whatever. I would just, that was my anxiety, suppressor. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? That's what I would do. And I carried that all the way up throughout until I was in my younger 20s. So when I was in my younger 20s, I used to work at, this was part right when I settled down a little bit, that
Mm-hmm.
whole early 20 thing when I met my wife. I started working as a sales manager at a retail store. And I met this guy. We became very, very good friends. One of my best friends right now, Shane. And I trusted him more than I probably trusted anybody. So I used to show him some of the things that I used to write. And he was like, "Bro, this is really good. Why don't you submit it into some writing contest?" And I was like, "Oh no, give me my shit back. Give me my shit back. Get the hell out of here." So, so one day he submitted it, and I actually won. He submitted one without me knowing, and he
Okay.
sent it to me, and I actually won. So I got a little more, I got a
That's
little
a
more
good
pepped
friend.
up. Yeah,
That's a
yeah, I
real
got a
good
little
friend.
exactly. So I got a little more, pepped up about it. And he came to me, he says, "Hey bro, like when I read your stories, um, you write very visual," is what he said. So he
Mm-hmm.
said, "You should try to think about writing screenplays for film." And I was like, "Bro, I have no idea how to do that. I'm just getting comfortable with showing you this." So he sends me a YouTube link on how to write screenplays. I click on the link, and after that, I learned myself overnight how to write in screenplay format, and after that, it just took off from there.
Unbelievable. Gotta love the internet.
Yeah, man. Good on
Gotta love the
YouTube.
internet. Man, good for you, bro. I like that. I like that. So you're here, you're doing this commercial, your wife's involved. Tell me about your family. What's that like? Tell me about that. Or tell us about that.
Family life is good, man. I got 3 girls. One just graduated high school. One just graduated from FAU down there, actually. And my youngest Taylor is she's the one that she's into the film thing today and she's out tomorrow. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? She's probably the most talented when it comes to running her mouth. She get that from me, bro. She get that from me. But family is good, man. My wife works. She's a case manager down at the biggest hospital down here, Emory Hospital.
Okay.
Um,
No memory.
so um, that's probably the reason why she doesn't be she's not involved as much as she could be because I mean that is a stressful job, bro. So I don't think I could ever do that. But we need our essential workers though, bro.
Mm.
So
Well, three girls. Good for you. I got two, and it's a lot. I couldn't imagine three. Oof, that's a
yeah,
lot.
man, a lot of attitudes.
Yeah, 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 yeah. To, I always compliment you on some of the things that you're doing. Speaking of family life, you're woodworking, you're building tables, you're doing all kinds of stuff on
Man,
top of two jobs, on
yeah,
top of a
man.
wife with three kids.
The woodwork, I picked that up as a hobby. And when she gets mad, she calls me a carpenter. But I picked that up as a hobby, but I started doing that, and that's another funny thing. Like I built a table one time, and I posted it on Facebook, and then a guy that was the financial, he works in he was the president of the financial aid office down at the University of Miami.
Okay.
Contacted me and was like, "Hey, can you make furniture for my entire living room?" So I was like, "Man, get out of here, dude." And he was like, "No, really." So I made it for him. I did it for him. I didn't want the job, but I took it. And ever since then, man, I just kind of do things like that I actually want to do. Like if I want a table, I'll build it. Like I don't do woodwork for hire, bro. Man, God praise God to the people that do that, but I couldn't do it. I enjoy doing it, but I mean, like a lot of people are like, man, you should start a website. I'm like, dude, to be honest with you, I like doing it enough for me.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But I don't want to go and build your auntie a table and then have to deal with all of that shit. Like I don't want to do it, bro.
Yeah,
Like
oh,
nah.
she'll be calling you, Terrence. I needed 72 inches. No, 75. No, light brown. No,
Yeah.
dark brown. No, four legs. No, just a big thing in the middle. No, and you're just like, oh my God,
Yeah.
lady, stop,
I've been there,
stop.
dude. I've been there. I'm like, bro, I don't. And then man, most of the time, people like they might say they want a custom made wood piece of furniture in general, but they don't understand the hours and the work that goes into that. So it's like when you give them a price that is on the low end of what you should charge them, they're like, oh man, I go to Walmart and buy that for $100. Like, okay, well go ahead. But that's the reason I don't even I ain't got the energy to deal with people with that. So it's like, bro, it's like you want me to build a table for $200. Like, ma'am, do you realize that I sand this table for 2 days? Like, do you realize that it's like 100 hours into this table? You know what I'm saying? like, come on. But we live and we learn, bro.
You went from custom table to picking it up at Walmart.
Yeah, yeah, that's what they do, bro. They say, "Oh no," because they always say they want it until they hear how
Hmm.
much it costs,
Oh yeah.
and then they say, "You know what? We didn't really think about. Maybe we're not ready for the table yet." And
Hmm.
then right then they're getting ready. They GPS into Walmart right now.
Oh my God, that's too funny. That's too funny. You are so busy with you got the movies, full-time job, woodworking hobby, wife and three kids. You probably watch a basketball game or something here and there too to relax at some
Oh yeah.
point. I could imagine. What's the secret?
Oh man, I tell you, I don't know, man. I get over obsessed with things, and that's a to my detriment sometimes because I do get overindulged in things, but I'm one of those people. I have to see something to the end, and I tell you what part of that was like I'm kind of my stepfather who I love dearly. One thing about him was it was always he had a saying that was, "Man, we'll leave something for tomorrow. Let's leave that for tomorrow," and the shit would never get done. You know what I'm saying? Like we would be doing a project around the house, and he could build a house with a butter knife, dude. And every time you would start working on something, I'll get excited because I want to see the finished product. And he would say, "Let's finish it tomorrow." So that stuck with me my whole, teenage life and through my childhood. So now when I start something, I want to do everything today, and that ain't always good. You know what I'm saying? But I just love to do. I just want to get it done. So no matter what I start doing, I want to try to finish it. But I also have a tendency to take on too many things. You know
I
what I'm
can see
saying?
that. I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah. So I just gotta kind of now what I do is I know I got a lot going on, but I just try to prioritize the most important things and then everything else. Like the main thing that I do is I slot days. So Sunday is all day schoolwork and then some writing if I need to. Monday and Tuesday may be me doing meetings for my films or a rehearsal or something like that. And let's say Tuesday and or Wednesday and Thursday maybe uploading inspections for my job.
Hmm.
So I try to slot days and make sure that whatever I'm supposed to be doing on that day, that is the only thing that I do, and that seems to work the best.
That's bold. I like that. Commitment.
Yeah, you got to, man.
Commitment. I was just thinking about something my wife and I were talking about with that story with your stepdad. It's amazing the things our parents teach us that they didn't mean to teach us.
Right. Absolutely.
Because the lesson you learned was not the lesson he was trying to teach you.
Nope. Absolutely. I learned from him by doing exactly the opposite of what he said.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
and it gets me into trouble sometimes, but I just, bro, when I start something, like I want to finish it and I want to finish it today because that's all I used to hear. Man, we finish that tomorrow. And it was like, my, my mama will be like, you got, like, you ain't even put the tire back on the car. Like, you change, you know what I'm saying? Like, you would, like, hey, he would change the tire and then he would leave the car jacked up. And she would be like, well, why don't you just take the jack from under the car? Like, oh, we'll do that tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? She come out for work and the damn car still jacked up in the air at 6 o'clock in the morning, dude. Yeah, I said to myself, I said I would never be that guy.
Don't be that
Love
guy.
him, love him to death, but I'll never be that guy.
That's too funny. That is real. That is real. I I've had this practice now in the middle of this COVID pandemic. We're all stressed. We're all working from home. We're all kind of busy. Sounds like you're back traveling. But I'll be remiss if I didn't also talk about the social causes and social up change.
Hmm.
I don't know if it's uplifting yet,
Right,
but
right,
this
right, right.
social change. What are your thoughts? You're a smart guy. You're encompassing Renaissance man in your own words. What's your thought about all of this going on?
Well, you mean as far as like being forced to be at home and things like that, or
From the pandemic side of it to the social cause, the Breonna Taylor stuff was just this
oh
week,
man,
to,
yeah.
riots, to, I'm not saying get political. This isn't what this podcast is about. But what are your thoughts? Again, you're a smart guy. You and I text back and forth. We're friends. I know a little bit of what your thoughts are, but give me a little glimpse of your just, ooh, this stuff is.
Well, I mean, I will say, when it comes to all of this crimes committed towards us, I feel like the pandemic kind of, I, I, I'm not gonna say it helped us, but it helped us in the aspect that it made everyone sit down and have nothing but time to watch things that happen. Like, cause just think about it. If we had not been shut down and at home, not doing anything, um, we would not have had time to sit down and watch the whole George Floyd thing play out right in front of our eyes. You know what I'm saying? Because remember, right after that happened, people were like, well, man, since the George Floyd, we don't even hear about Corona no more. And that's when the numbers just spiked and went to hell. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like the pandemic, it did two things. It made us kind of sit down and, you know, put things into perspective, and we started paying attention to these social issues that were going on one by one
Mm-hmm.
as well. Also, the other side of that is I feel like, if you're being forced to be home, like you got to come up with new things to do. For instance, you doing what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like I had another friend of mine that it has a very, very successful YouTube thing that he's doing with his kids. And the reason that he did it was because he was home and he didn't have nothing else to do. You know what I'm saying? So, it just kind of goes hand in hand with everything that's going on, with the whole. But the other thing, I don't mean to be long winded, but the Breonna Taylor dude, I just don't, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on with that. I feel like if it's all, the thing is accidents happen, and no one can say that accidents don't happen. But why is it that every single time an accident happens with a black person, they're dead? You know what I'm saying? Like like white folks can have an accident and they'll get to come home and talk about it. But if we have a bad day with a cop, chances are we're gonna just be dead. And that's my only issue with it. But other than that, man, life is great.
Okay, that's good. No, that's honest. That's honest. I asked our friend Johanse Pettis a similar question because he's got young boys.
Oh
You
man,
you've got a young daughter. How do you explain some of this stuff to her as a parent?
man, I will tell you that nowadays I think that kids are a lot smarter than we take credit for giving them. But the kids they're a lot smarter. Taylor's 13, so and she's very, very advanced and in tune with society. She asks a lot of questions, so in essence, that makes it a little bit easier on me because I'm just not forcing something down her throat that she doesn't really give a damn about.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like she'll come up and ask and say, well, what happened with this case? Well, why do you think, or I think that the officer should have did this? Like we have open-ended conversations that, and we have the relationship that she will kind of spark it off before. And that's more comfortable for me because I feel like if she's asking me, she's more going to be receptive to what I got to say.
Very true. Very true. Okay, I like that. I like that. I like to be well-rounded in these conversations.
Absolutely.
I don't want to leave anything on the table.
Oh, no problem, bro.
A more to switch it up, a little bit more of a fun question. What's the one thing that everybody believes but you disagree with?
One thing that everybody believes, but I disagree with. I think everybody in South Florida believes that the Dolphins are good. But I definitely disagree with that. I don't know. I'm trying to on a more serious note. I don't know, man.
No, it doesn't make like I don't like chocolate, and people look at me like I'm crazy. I'm just not a big
Oh,
chocolate
I
guy
don't. I
whatsoever.
don't. I do not like chocolate, bro. I can't do it.
Me too. Kids love chocolate ice cream. I'm like, nope, no, thank you.
Yeah, I
I'm out.
can't do that. Something that I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to come back to that one. That's a left hook right there.
Because some people always have something. There's that person that likes candy corn when everybody hates candy
Oh
corn. I
my
don't know even
God!
understand that.
Straight in the garbage. Straight in the
Trash,
garbage.
straight trash. But you never know. There's always somebody. There's always something for somebody. So, wrapping up here, what else do people need to know about your story, Terence? Because I think we've covered a lot of things, but what else do we need to know about your story?
I think the only thing that I probably left out. Okay, so I think this is the most important thing about me getting into film that I completely glimpsed over, and it's the most
Okay.
important thing. So
Yeah.
when I started writing the whole script thing and everything, and we decided that I hadn't showed these scripts to really anybody. And we decided to move to Atlanta. I was like, you know what? I'll get to Atlanta. I'll start meeting people, and it should be, pretty easy. So when I got here through this person, that person, and the other, I met up with this company that was a content company, and I sent them some of my stuff, and they hired me to be their writer to create all of the content for the company, everything from skits to short films or whatever. And every time we would get ready to go film, it would always be an issue. It would always be, a reschedule. So this went on for about a good 6 months. Um, so I'm like, you know what? Maybe this is how the whole, film business works. Like it just, it's hurry up and wait. You
Mm-hmm.
know. Well, I come to find out that I found out through a couple of people that these people were taking my scripts and they were taking my name off of them, and they were selling them to other people.
Ooh.
And I actually had a few of them emailed back to me.
Ooh.
Yeah, I had a guy that contacted me about helping him direct a film, and when
Mm-hmm.
he sent me the script, it was my script, word for word.
Wow.
So I
Wow.
I immediately I didn't say anything to the people. I just blocked everybody's number, everybody's contact, and I never even confronted them. So I said from that point, I said, you know what? I'm gonna start over. I'm gonna make a company name. I'm gonna start over, and I'm gonna create my own business and build it from the ground up. I don't bro. We were out there shooting with the cheapest camera you could ever imagine, but we made a lot of mistakes, and I started building from that point. It was me and one other person, dude. It was me and one other person went out there, and we just started. Not one person thought we were gonna go anywhere, but we did, and that's how I started. That's how I got to where I am now. But if that had not happened, I would have never tried to build my own.
Wow. You saved that freaking story for the end. Jesus Christ.
We skipped over that, man. You can take it, hey, just take it when you edit it and, and slide it over. You know what I'm saying?
You got to show me how to do that. I'm not ready for all of that. You got to show me how to do all of that.
If you recording it, then you can just Adobe Premiere. You good? It's simple, bro. It's simple. You can do it. I know you of all people. I know you will be able to do it.
That's good. Okay. Well, I will take you up on that. I will take you up on that. Well, Terence, this has been great. I don't even know what the timer is to how long we've been on the phone, but to share your story and kind of this evolution into, like you said, a jock that's the fun-loving guy to making films, winning short story contests, entering into movie film contests. That's just amazing to me. We didn't even talk about your food.
Oh man, that's a whole. We gotta do it again, man. We like I said,
talk about how much food you used to cook and be amazing, man. My daughter used to say, "When are we gonna get that barbecue again?"
Man, well, man, we just had a couples party up here, man, and we had like 8 couples, man. And man, if I send you some of the videos, bro, it was crazy, man.
Oh, man, I'm happy to. I'm excited. I hope people go check out Film Jocks. In fact, please tell us where we can find your stuff, where we can find you.
So Film Jocks on Facebook and IG, no underscore, just Film Jocks, exactly the same how it sounds on Instagram, IG. The podcast is Film Jocks behind the scenes podcast, wherever you get your podcast, as well as YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get it. Just type in Film Jocks with no spaces, and you should get it on there. The podcast is going to be video now at a studio starting on the 16th.
Okay.
So man, if you ever in the neighborhood, bro, and you want to stop by, we'll set that up, bro.
Anytime I'm in Atlanta, I'm coming by. I already seen your backyard. I'm coming by. You know that for sure.
Yeah, man, hit me up, man. Sure. We could do it up, bro.
That is a must. Well, yeah, everybody check out Film Jocks. He's got a lot of really cool stuff. I've listened to the first 2 podcasts. There's some really good stories there, insightful guidance. This guy is a wise man beyond his years.
I appreciate it.
And you'll get some really good content, some really good, hey, I can do this kind of energy from the podcast. So I loved every second of the 2 I listened to, man. Loved it.
The third one's up now, so
okay. Well, I will check that out. All right, Terence, thank you so much, man. You got a friend in me. You ever need anything down here in South Florida that you need a trustworthy guy to show up and get it done for you, you call me, bro. I got you. I
appreciate it, man. Love you, bro. I appreciate it. I got to see you, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much.
All right, bro. Appreciate you having me.